First, she became a lawyer, named one of the top 100 in America. Her first cause was children, fighting abuse and chairing the board of the Children's Defense Fund. Her first priority was public schools, helping to establish teacher testing. More than a first lady. For 30 years, she's fought for children and families. As New York Senator, she'll fight for better schools and health care for children. Hillary, put her to work for all of us.
First student to give a commencement address at Wellesley. First to start an advocacy group for children and families in Arkansas. First to establish teacher testing in public schools. Not just the First Lady. For 30 years, Hillary Clinton has been fighting for children and families. Hillary for U.S. Senate. Your concerns are her concerns.
I've seen her go to the hospital and talk to children. The next thing you knew, all the kids would come sit by. If you're a sincere, caring person, children will respond to you. If you're not, they won't.
30 years fighting for children and families. All the proceeds from her book, nearly $1 million, donated to help children. As New York Senator, she'll fight for better health coverage, modern schools, higher standards. Hillary, put her to work for all of us.
When I started this campaign, I'm not sure I knew quite what to expect, and you probably didn't either. But I've tried to stay focused on our common mission, making a difference for people, lifting up our children with better education and health care, helping our families with tax cuts for college and long-term care, working to create new jobs. If we reach past our divisions, there's so much we can do working together. I hope you'll give me that chance. In the last year, I've traveled to all 62 counties of New York. I believe it's important to tell you where I stand and what I'll do. I have a plan to bring high-tech jobs to every corner of New York, to help middle-class families deduct up to $10,000 a year in college costs, to help everyone get access to lower-cost prescription drugs. And let's be fiscally responsible, save the surplus for Social Security, and pay down the national debt. That's what I want to do if you put me to work for you.
The state Senate just passed tougher penalties for hate crimes. Hillary fought for the bill. Rick Lazio was opposed. But 5 days after it passed, he flip-flopped. The Post called it an about-face. Rick Lazio, the more you know, the more you wonder. The Senate just voted to kill the Patient's Bill of Rights by 2 votes. Hillary supports it. In the House, Rick Lazio voted against the bill, siding with the Republican leadership. Rick Lazio, the more you know, the more you wonder.
I like Rick Lazio, but I'm not voting for him. He's wrong on too many issues. He opposes licensing and registration of handguns, which I support and Hillary supports. He's not really pro-choice because he won't support funding abortion for poor women, which I support and Hillary supports. And he was willing to run on the independence line with Pat Buchanan, which I could never agree with. Hillary had the guts to say no to Buchanan. She's my choice. Trust me. I love New York. I like Rick Lazio, but I'm not voting for him. He's wrong on too many issues. He opposes licensing and registration of handguns, which I support and Hillary supports. He's not really pro-choice because he won't support funding abortion for poor women, which I support and Hillary supports. And he's not really for the Patient's Bill of Rights because he voted against the right to sue your HMO. Hillary's my choice. Trust me, I love New York.
Congress just defeated a plan by only 2 votes to lower home heating oil costs for New York and the Northeast. How did Rick Lazio vote? He didn't. He skipped the vote. Rick Lazio, the more you know, the more you wonder.
How many of you have known somebody who has had to leave because they had to go somewhere else for work? How many of you have known people like that?
She understands that families are struggling because she's listened, person to person, in all 62 counties of New York. Now Hillary's outlined a specific plan to bring new jobs to every corner of New York, so no one is left behind in the new economy. Wait it and you'll see. Hillary's fighting to make sure our children can build their futures here. She'll always put our families first. About health care, because it's always been her cause. When her health care plan was defeated, she kept on fighting, step by step, and made a difference. Mammograms covered by Medicare, longer hospital coverage for new mothers. In the Senate, Hillary will fight to provide health care access to every child, for a real patient's Bill of Rights, and tax credits to help those without coverage on the job. Who'll be a strong voice for better health care? Hillary. Always has been, always will be. Have you seen this new Republican ad? It uses spliced pictures to suggest that Senator Moynihan supports Rick Lazio. He's endorsed Hillary.
I hope she will go all the way. I mean to go all the way with her.
Senator Moynihan asked Lazio to have the Republican ad withdrawn. He calls it fakery. Lazio's response?
I had nothing to do with it. I haven't even seen the ad.
But newspapers tell Lazio they're sick and tired of those kinds of excuses. Stop the deception. Rick Lazio, be straight with New Yorkers. The end to nursing home standards, the largest education cuts in history, the slashing of Medicare by $270 billion. Who voted for all this? Rick Lazio. 4 years as Newt Gingrich's deputy whip. You won't see that in his ads. And you won't see his recent votes against investing in 100,000 new teachers and against guaranteed prescription drug coverage under Medicare. With Rick Lazio, the more you know, the more you wonder. They tried to get her to back down on teacher testing. She wouldn't. They tried to make her give up after health care reform failed. She kept working. They tried to silence her in China, but she spoke out for women's rights as human rights. They criticized her book about children. She took the proceeds, nearly $1 million, and gave it to children. All her life, Hillary has stood strong for what she believes in, for better schools, better health care. Now she'll stand up for us. Hillary Clinton supports tax cuts. That's right. She has a plan for a $10,000 tax deduction to help pay for college, tax credits for long-term care and for child care, a reduction of the marriage penalty and the estate tax. And Hillary's tax cut plan is affordable. We'd still be able to pay down the debt and extend Social Security. Rick Lazio's tax plan costs more than $1 trillion. And just like George Bush, Lazio's plans squander the whole surplus. Hillary, the right tax cuts, the right choice. What does Rick Lazio think of Newt Gingrich?
I think he was an important historical figure.
Newt Gingrich, an important historical figure? And Lazio didn't say that about Gingrich 5 years ago. It was just last week. Lazio did serve as Newt Gingrich's deputy whip for 4 years, and he still says he has absolutely no regrets about voting with Gingrich to take $270 billion out of Medicare. No regrets about voting to shut down the Department of Education. If that's Rick Lazio's view of history, think about what it could mean for our future.
Over the last 5 years, upstate New York is ranked near the bottom of the nation in job growth. And since 1992, 170,000 young people have left. But Rick Lazio doesn't think the area needs targeted economic help. Guess it's hard to find a solution when you can't see the problem. Hillary Clinton, a strong voice for New York families with a detailed plan to create new jobs in upstate New York.
recently, Rick Lazio skipped 59 of 60 votes in Congress. Votes on adding 100,000 new teachers, on domestic violence, on home heating oil. But Lazio did manage to show up weeks ago to vote himself a pay raise. Rick Lazio, the more you know, the more you wonder. In the end, it's about the issues. Hillary supports guaranteed prescription drug coverage for all seniors. Lazio voted no with the drug companies. Hillary supports adding 100,000 new teachers. Lazio has voted no, voted with Gingrich for the biggest education cuts in history. Hillary says use the surplus to extend Social Security. Lazio, like George Bush, a $1 trillion tax plan. His plans squander the surplus. Hillary's the one who'll be a strong voice for us.
New Yorkers come from everywhere. The best people from all over the country in every walk of life gravitate towards New York. We've produced the leaders that have articulated a vision for America of a community of all kinds of different people who go together because we share a value. It is against everything we stand for as a state to say that you can't participate in public life in this state because you weren't born here. We should be proud in our state that we've gotten somebody of the quality and the timber and the character of Hillary Clinton.
Attacks from Rick Lazio. Here are the facts. Since Labor Day, Rick Lazio's had the second worst voting record in the whole Congress. He skipped 78 of the last 82 votes. And it's Lazio's plans that will squander the surplus. Hillary's plan cuts taxes and pays down the debt. Lazio voted with Gingrich to cut $24 billion from New York's hospitals, against guaranteed prescription drug coverage under Medicare. Hillary's fighting for quality health care for all. It's time to stop the attacks and stick to the facts.
Your friends, and I'll tell you who you are.
Okay, let's look at Rick Lazio's friends. A Daily News investigation just revealed that the home building industry has kicked in $1 million to Lazio's campaign, and Lazio's tried to help them weaken safety and construction standards. The AARP said his bill could lead to weaker safety rules, put residents at risk. This is the industry that Rick Lazio is supposed to oversee as chairman of the Housing Subcommittee. Rick Lazio, he does take care of his friends, but what about you?
You want to know 3 things Hillary's done? She's worked to reform adoption laws, introduce teacher testing, and expand children's health coverage. You want to know more? She's helped pass family and medical leave and helped make sure mammograms are covered by Medicare. She's helped win funding for breast cancer research and for after-school programs. For 30 years, Hillary's been a champion for things that help the nation and New York. She's done so much, and there's so much more she'll do in the Senate.
A year and a half ago, I helped launch Hillary on her way. Since then, she's worked so hard, spoken seriously. She has ideas about creating jobs, guarding the surplus, getting New York its fair share, and she'll have what it takes to get things done. I've had the honor of serving New York for the last 24 years. I want to thank you for that honor and urge you to choose Hillary next. I think she'll be a splendid senator.
Gotten any nasty phone calls lately from Rick Lazio's campaign? Tell him you care about issues, not insults. Hillary's fighting for 100,000 new teachers, rebuilding our schools. Rick Lazio voted with Newt Gingrich for the largest education cuts in history. Hillary, a prescription drug plan covering all seniors. Lazio, over 600,000 New York seniors left out. Hillary will never vote for justices who would end a woman's right to choose. Lazio says he might. Right on the issues, right for the Senate, Hillary. "17 young American servicemen and women on the USS Cole, killed by a cowardly act of terrorism. Sadly, Rick Lazio is trying to exploit this tragedy. His campaign is making 500,000 phone calls saying Hillary supports this appalling act of terrorism. Absurd, says the New York Times. Irresponsible smear attacks. Newsday calls it reprehensible, like Gingrich's slash and burn style. If this is how Rick Lazio campaigns for office, what would Rick Lazio do in office?
My husband and I have 5 children, and 3 out of 5 moved away to get jobs. We're still hurting here, and I don't think Mr. Lazio has helped.
He really is out of touch, more concerned about downstate than upstate.
It's important to have a very detailed economic growth plan for upstate.
Hillary has shown a definite interest in the upstate New York area.
She's about helping people who need help.
I'm a registered Republican, and I think Hillary is what we need in this area.
It's not what you say, it's what you actually do.
Okay, Rick Lazio said...
Right here, sign it right now, right now, sign it right now, right now.
But then he broke the soft money agreement. Lazio said he was a moderate. But he was Newt Gingrich's deputy whip for 4 years, voted for the largest education and Medicare cuts in history. Lazio said he'd run a positive campaign, but he's been caught making 500,000 reprehensible phone calls.
It's not what you say, it's what you actually do.
Exactly.
I've seen these actresses Rick Lazio has on TV trashing Hillary. Well, I'm no actress. I'm a wife, mother, 9-year breast cancer survivor, and advocate. Rick Lazio is my congressman, and on breast cancer, you need to know Rick Lazio walked away from us. He tried to gut our funding. I have friends with questions about Hillary. I tell them, get over it. I know her. On breast cancer, health care, education, and a woman's right to choose, Hillary would never walk away. She'll be there for us.
Rally last week.
Have you seen this? It's garbage. Rick, stop with the sleaze already. This guy gave money to George W. Bush and to Hillary, and they both returned it. So what? Here's a picture of Lazio with Yasser Arafat. It's a great smile, but what does it mean? Lazio supports terrorism? Come on. Hillary Clinton has traveled the world to denounce terrorism. She'll always be a champion of a safe, secure Israel. And on education and health care, and a woman's right to choose, she's the best choice for the Senate.